And we're live. All right, everybody. This is the Wendy Show. Welcome, welcome. This is the 21st of June, 2019. It's still 2019, right? We didn't go on to the next year yet. Oh, thank God. It's going fast enough. All right, great. So, let's see. So a little bit of summertime from Gershwin because today is the first day of summer. Woohoo! Of course, it's no big deal in Arizona because it's already been summer. But we did have a lovely May, and it's cooling off a little bit. Now, those of you in other parts of the country may think 102 is hot. We don't think it's quite so hot. So it's a reprieve. All right. So my guest today is Elsie Johnson, and Elsie Johnson is a member of the Phoenix Metro Chamber of Commerce, where I met her, and a little bit about her. Not a lot, because we're going to find out other things that are in her bio. But she likes helping clients get their with their businesses and personal life. Because a lot of times we don't like what we do, and sometimes that is maybe how we look at it or how we feel about it or what our experiences have been. And there's growth involved with that, and also a little introspection. This is what she's good at, and she gets her passion going again. Now, I don't have a problem with that with what I do. I'm always passionate about writing songs and helping people with energy work. So I don't think I'm a client for you, but you are a wonderful guest for me. And a lot of people are afraid to choose the lifestyle professionally that they want. And this is something else that she helps us with. Okay, so I want to go back to the beginning. And the beginning is, Elsie, where'd you come from? Where were you born?
I was born in Denmark.
Oh.
Yes, many, many years ago. And I'm born and raised there. I didn't move to the US till the late 20s, my late 20s. But I had already lived other places in the world by then. And when I came to the US, I came to California. So that was a huge difference from where I lived in Denmark.
And why did you come? Did you come by yourself or with your family?
No, I met an American that I had to go check out.
And did it work out?
Well, we're still married.
Still on trial, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd say 30 years,
Congrats.
I think it's sticking.
All right. Glad to hear it. And when you came, what was your education in?
I started in finance in Denmark. I actually were in banking, and so banking and then also investment. And that's what I did before I came to the US. I didn't want to stay in the same field because living in LA, it would mean LA traffic for an hour back and forth every day. And I, up till that point in my life, I had never owned a car. Everywhere I went was with my bus pass, my bicycle, or my own two legs. So I did not want to be in a car for an hour every day. And so I started in different areas. I did marketing, I did office management, I did a lot of different things. And we moved around a bit. And one of the experiences we had was in China. We lived in China for a while. And over the years, I came to start my own interior design business. And that's what I did for many years before I started my coaching.
What about interior design drew you?
Well, I've been loving textiles since I was a little girl. Some of my fondest memories from when I was little was sitting in the basement with my sister sewing Barbie doll clothes. We never played with the Barbie dolls. We just sewed their clothes. And so I've been sewing my whole life. And when I got into interior design, it was sort of a backwards way. I was doing all the accounting and running the books and the business side of a company for a very talented interior painter or decorator. And I realized this was a really amazing field. And I also realized I had talent for it. I love color. I was good at putting colors together. I was good at getting spatial relations and doing the design work. And that's sort of how I slowly eased into it. And my love of textiles, and I started being my own workrooms. I sewed the draperies, the pillows, the cushions, did installations, did all that from the very beginning.
Wow. Let's go back to Denmark for a minute. What do you miss the most not being there?
Um, the simplicity,
Mhm.
just that. Uh, I remember a while back during a presidential campaign in the US, and people were, the big theme of that year was family values, about how we were losing family values in the US. And I'm
Sounds
like,
like Dan Quayle.
no, and actually, I think it was George Bush and Jr. But it doesn't matter who it really was. But what I realized was when I grew up, Saturdays from 12 o'clock till Monday morning at 10 o'clock, stores were closed. Stores closed at 5:30 at night, and there was very little TV. Not that that's the case today, but I still think the difference between where I grew up and where I still see today is there are times where you're almost forced to have family time or do something that's not work related. So just the sheer aspect of that makes you more concentrating on what's outside your work life. And
Yeah, we
I
got
like that.
you like that slower pace and the family time, right?
I
That's
wouldn't necessarily call it a slower pace. It's just a different pace.
mhm.
Because when people work, it's, they're very committed, they're very efficient, but they also allow themselves that recharge time, which family time and downtime really is, right? That you
Yeah,
can't because your health suffers if you are on 24 hours a day, which you probably know in your energy work, right?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, we have to do pristine. We call it pristine self care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm. I have to literally chunk in time for that, which I don't always do enough of. But you're absolutely right. We all need that.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who work with other people, especially, need that, and you've probably seen that quite a bit.
But I think once you start seeing the effect on yourself and what it does, it sort of creeps in on you. And a lot of people, they don't catch it till it's way too late, and they have complete burnout, or they just have lost all like life zest. Like
Yeah,
it's just,
enthusiasm for what they're
yeah,
doing. Yeah, I've been there.
just
I've been.
routine after routine after routine, and it's like you don't stop up and say, "Yay, I did this," you know, or even just recognize when you feel really, really shitty. Sorry, my language here, but you have to recognize those emotions. Yeah.
That a lot of people don't. Well, do you find that people, this is what I see, get really comfortable in their misery? It's what they know. And
Well,
they surround themselves with people who feel the same way so that they have a sort of camaraderie in that same misery.
well, absolutely, absolutely. It's you. Anything that is different than what you're used to is always scary, even if even if it seems like it's better than where you're at. It's still scary to break out.
Yeah.
And it takes courage because it's almost like being the leader out front to show everybody else. Like if you are in a group of people that likes to pull you down, to sort of stand out from that group and say it doesn't have to be this way.
Right. That's it's so common that that's where coaches come in. That's where you as a coach come in. That's where I'm not a coach. I do energy work, but when it comes to music, I when I write custom songs, I'm a little bit of a coach there, and
Sure.
but then I'm the creator after I get the information. But I use a coach for dating because it's real scary for me, the online. What do I say? Who do I who do I contact? What do I do? And that's so I had to have a coach for that because otherwise I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So I get it. So I do have coaches for the music and the energy. I have them as well.
Mm.
But what? So you morphed into this other coaching. What led you to that? How did you get established in that?
What happened was I moved to Scottsdale about almost 5 years ago now. And I did what I always do with our moves. I started redoing my whole house, and I do a lot of the work myself. I love my power tools and my tile saw and all that kind of stuff.
I've
And it
got a
took
couple projects for you now.
I never did it for my clients, but I know enough about it to do it for myself. And the knowledge that I had always helped my clients out, because then, I could talk more, uh, more educatedly with the contractors. But
Right.
and then when I was done, I was sitting on the couch. Our grown children are not here with us, and I said, I can't just sit here. And I knew I couldn't be a traditional employee. I've been by myself for too long to really fit into that mold.
You're unemployable like me. I get it.
Yeah. And so I said, okay, I know my interior design. I know that. I just jumped right into it. And I did okay, but I didn't do fabulously. And it was, first of all, I started, oh, it's because my old business, I never had to advertise a day in my life. It was all referral based, and, I had that luxury. But then I started saying, what is really going on with me? Why is it that I can't do it? And I started realizing, and not just in that moment, but I started sort of looking at my whole life and saying the goals that I had set and how I had met them, and how I sometimes had set too low of a goal for myself because I was
Mm.
too scared to go for, for the ultimate prize. And I started looking and said, why is that? And I talked to a couple of very amazing ladies that were sort of supporting me in this. And as I started learning more and more about it, I started studying NLP, which is neuro language programming. I started another discipline which is called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and became certified in that. And it changed my life. It changed how I live. It changed how I looked at my company. It changed how I could see the possibilities that if you get that mindset right, where you really can go. And I was like, this is what I want to help people with. And I started looking at my own life, said, do I have the experience to do that? And I found out I've really done that my whole life. Every interaction I had with another business owner, it was always, oh, how can I help you? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? And it just became so apparent to me that that's really where my true talent was, and where my true passion is. And people say, well, that's sort of a strange combination between interior design and
Mm.
coaching. But I look at it a totally different way. When you go into an interior design project, especially in the residential project, you go in, and even if your client only hire you to do the kitchen, you don't just do the kitchen. Or you maybe just do the kitchen, but you don't just go in and look at the kitchen. You look
Right.
at the whole house. You look and see, how does the family room look? How does the living room look? What are the colors that they're using? How do they use the space, right? And I realized that every single interior design client I have, I wasn't necessarily just designing the beautiful space for them. I was designing a space for them where they can live beautiful lives. And a lot of times that's really what you do in coaching. Instead of moving furniture around, you move thoughts around.
Yeah.
You move patterns and behaviors around, so they work together in a big unity, so you really can live a beautiful life.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. When we do energy work, we're moving energy around. We're cleaning the fields around people, pulling the negative stuff out. We can do deep dives for PTSD,
Mm.
and it changes everything. So I don't give people the thought ideas, although there's some things we can do with PTSD. But what you're talking about is looking at the whole being, which is what we really work on. And I wish the medical profession would do that. They focus on one part, and what they prescribe affects another part, but they don't care about that because they only want to fix one part. They don't care what happens to the side effects. They don't either know about it, they're not schooled in it. And most of the doctors I know have no knowledge of nutrition, which is the basis of everything. But we're going to take a quick break because we're going to talk about a lot of people, a lot of my viewers want to know what's going on with Lucky, because Lucky was Lucky is the sun conjure. And I'm going to, let's see if I can pull me up so I can see. There we go. So that Lucky, now it's upside down because I had the phone the wrong way, but you see, I had to wash Lucky this morning in the bathtub. There's a sprayer thing. Let me move the picture over because he needed to have, you can see it better. He needed to have cleaner thoughts and get the dust out of his feathers, and he's still in the bird cage because he's still chewing things up. So that's an update on Lucky. Lucky's a sun conure, by the way. Also, I just want to let you guys know that there's 3 days left on this offer for the wellness session to get to know you with me, discovery of something in your life that you want to be feeling better about. And it's $25. You can just sign up right on the left-hand side of this. I'm going to change the offer. It might be for music. It might be for more energy work, whichever I'll ask my higher self. There is a way to do that. To benefit everybody, and it always works. All right, so back on track. I've done that. Disclaimer on the energy work. This offer may result in feeling great, more productivity, more smiles, more laughing, more income, greater relationships, a general feeling of wellness, of wonderfulness, and just plain more fun. Now, if you don't want that, then don't talk to me. All right, back to Elsie. I'm going to pull you up so I can see you better. All right, so we talked about what brought you to that, what your vision is, and your vision for everybody's business is a little different because they're all different, aren't they?
Yes.
What's the most difficult or challenging person or business you worked with, and why was it challenging?
The most challenging, it's not necessarily the business part, but it's that acceptance that a client doesn't realize they already know everything. It's because when you're in business, and I found that with myself, was that, oh, I'm not getting sales, so I need to go take another sales course. Oh, I screwed up my accounting. My accountant did that, so somebody else needs to do my accounting. It's because my accounting is not straight that I'm not making enough money. So realizing that all these things can be as perfect as it possibly can be, but you are not, you're just not thinking straight. You're not thinking from a place of empowerment, a place of where this is my company, this is how I run it. You look to all these exterior factors to, to run your business instead of remembering it's yours.
And you're right, the answers are within us. But I've done this many times. We keep getting ready to get ready with classes, webinars, and then there's the next bright, shiny thing. Mm-hmm. I'm a very highly creative person. Well, you are too, in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I also hate being bored. And wow, does this thing look good? Now, do you help people with staying on track for what they're doing and not looking for and grabbing that next shiny thing?
Yes, I do both. First, you have to, once you start figuring out where you're really going, when you create this overall big plan and say, this is the direction I'm traveling, it becomes much easier to pull all these distractions out of the way. Because then we can work on tools to help you not get distracted, because you can, as soon as that distraction come up, can say, oh, will that get me closer to where I want to go? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If it does, great, let me grab that distraction. Or maybe saying, okay, this is a good distraction, but I can't use it right now, so I'm putting it out here on the side track so I can get back to it. So those are some of the tools that I work with my clients on. The first thing that I really the first part of what I work with them is really figuring out what is it really that they want. And it's not just a matter of success. It's how do you define that
Yeah.
success? How do you want your life to look like in 5 years? What car do you want to drive? What house do you want to live in? What vacations do you want to take? What people do you want to hang out with? People forget to look at that when they have their bigger vision, because if you haven't seen yourself in that place,
Right.
it's very difficult to get there.
I was thinking exactly those words. We have to do it with the end in mind. And my energy coach, Siobhan Moran, says, "Stay in your lane."
Yeah.
And that is hugely important. Because we look over here, oh, so and so is doing that. Oh, so and so is doing that, and we compare. And that comes back to self-judgment, which is another thing that I can work on. Is energetically that gets stuck inside, and we need to clear it out. But you're working on the self-judgment as well in a different way. You're working on staying in your own lane, and as you said, putting the other one on the side. It might be something to do down the line, but not right now. But what is your ultimate outcome? What are you envisioning? And the other thing is, it can change.
Oh, absolutely.
We might not have thought of something, and I didn't know I was going to make a business out of the music. I never thought I was going to do energy. I didn't even believe in it until I started and said, "Oh my gosh, it's real."
Yes.
But then, how do I get to the end result? And at first, I didn't even know what it was. So, do you help people figure out what that? Do you have some questions or some exercises to help them figure that out?
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite ways of doing this is it's a very simple exercise. And it starts with basically telling the client, saying, I want you to think about 1 to 5 years out. Some people,
Right.
5 is too far, 1 maybe too little. So maybe let's say 2.5, 3 years out in the future. I want you to remove all kinds of limitations. Not what you know now, not how much money you have now, not anything.
Right.
And then you and I are meeting again on the street, and we haven't seen each other since today, And I look at you and say, you look so happy. You look like you are just on top of the world. What have you been doing? And then I have the clients start dreaming without any of those restrictions
Yeah.
in their mind, because we have those in very deep
Yes.
down desires. We know what it looks like. We might not know exactly which brand of car, but then I asked him, how does it feel to drive that car? How does it feel to wear that clothes? Or what are your kids doing? What school are they going? Like I said before, getting that very, very clear picture, just getting out there and saying, what does that, very um, like physically looks like? And once you know that, then you need to attach the feeling to it. And that's another exercise, how we attach that feeling to it.
Right.
Because one of the things, and I know this is switching track a little bit. Right now, I'm working on a course for people who has a hard time with money. And if you look statistically, most people who win big at the lottery has lost or are worse off within 3 to 5 years.
Right.
And one of the reasons are that we sort of have a hidden language that we have been telling ourselves, that we have learned throughout our childhood and our younger years about money, either that it doesn't belong to us, or we are not good enough for it, or
We're
we
not
just
deserving.
can't, yeah, or we are not like, I'm not the person who has money. Like the rich people, those are the ones with money. Like even when you walk down the street, and which stores do you automatically go into? Do you go into Macy's, or are you going into Bloomingdale's right off the bat? That's how you look at money. So, and that's how we look at the whole life. We need to sort of feel comfortable in the skin that we want to adapt to.
Yeah, money is a big deal, and energetically, well, money is energy. Everything is energy.
Sure.
But when you improve any one of 6 areas, you're going to improve all of them. That includes relationships and emotional, mental, physical, financial. All of those work together. There's actually 6 of them that we look at that cover just about everything. And it's energetically, it's everything we think is an energy.
Oh, absolutely.
So when we do a lot of negative stuff, it's quicker to clear it energetically, but you still need the coaching, which is not what I do, but that's what you do. And so you're talking about something like a vision board, which is something I have never done. I do it in music. I'm better in the sound. It's not that I don't do visual arts. I'm an expert knitter, crocheter, and things like that. But I set it up in music. That's where I feel it the most. Well, we've come to just about the end. Is there anything you wish I would have asked you that I didn't?
I think we've covered a lot of different things. I think that the biggest thing that people need to realize from my client's perspective, when you hire a coach for your business like me, is that I work with a part of the business where it's I don't come in and fix your books. I don't come in and fix your marketing. I don't come in and fix that. I make sure that everything that you have works for you, the way you want it. And a lot of people ask me, do I really need a coach? I say, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's much easier with somebody at your side to help you figure that out. The best basketball coach in the in the basketball league might not be a great basketball player, but he helps the players become better. And that's what a coach does for you. It helps you become better at who you are.
Yeah, and they may not be adept in your particular business, but they know how to build businesses in general. But you're the expert in your business.
Yes, exactly.
So you can find more about Elsie at www. and we'll spell it out, morethanjustfine.com, just like it sounds, morethanjustfine.com. And I suspect through there you can find a phone number and email and everything else, which I have, but we're not going to have time for. But I really appreciate your stepping in to be on my show. I'm tracking down the lady who's going to be on next week. On the 5th, I didn't ask anybody. The 5th of July, I didn't expect anybody to want to. I'm going to just do the whole thing myself. It'll be patriotic. We'll do patriotic music and some readings and some fun stuff, things that mean something to me, just to let you know. So you can tune in or not. I will have it on YouTube. I'll live stream it to YouTube, and people can watch it there at wendywebermusic.com or Wendy Weber Music on YouTube. But wendywebermusic.com is my website. So let's finish this up. And I want to thank Elsie. Thank you so much. This has been a ball right from the start. I'm glad that you all were here to take part. Fun to use kazoo and not a drum and fife. Although I might look into that for the patriotic show. Wish a joyous melody in your heart and harmony in your life. See everybody. Bye, Elsie. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.